I'm interested in understanding what your experience has been, because there's this midlife crisis thing that happens. And I think everybody goes through it. I don't think it's like whether or not you're going to. I think it's a natural thing that happens. It's kind of like puberty.
Yeah.
Where everybody goes through it. It's just part of life. It's part of the process.
We all smell a little funny.
Right. And I think that it happens around 40 to 45 is kind of the range that it takes place in. Maybe some, 38, it can be as early as 38, right? We're not talking about perimenopause anymore.
We're just talking about midlife crisis.
Yeah, midlife crisis. And I'm curious if you have caught wind of anything, if there's any part of you that you have like...
Midlife crisis?
Yeah, started to question, or if those thoughts have popped into your head that maybe this, I might be going through something a little bit, might be experiencing what might start to be classified as some sort of midlife crisis. And this ties into perimenopause. We're
transition.
Yeah, we're
segue.
foreshadowing.
I don't know. I can tell you this. I know that I've seen like the memes or whatever, like at a certain age, you either get into like you really deep into like old like war history, or you smoke meats.
So which one are you?
So I smoke meat.
You smoke the meats?
Yeah, I smoke the meats.
Surprising.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Goes right along with my 75 hard. So, and I do. I got a smoker like 4 years ago, and it's one of my favorite things to do. Now, at the same time, I love, like you guys came over for brunch, I love making food for people. It hits all the little sparks, joys in my life. I like cooking for people. I like when people look at me like, wow, that was really good. Like, you could lie. I don't care, right? Like, but it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a big act of love.
Big act of love, yeah. I like cooking for people. But my grandfather, who I grew up, I spent a lot of time with, my mom's dad, he used to say that midlife starts 5 minutes after they cover you up.
Okay.
And because he was, he's a 70-year-old guy riding Harleys, just doing whatever they do. Hell, he's like, I don't give a shit, right? His midlife crisis was probably doing whatever the fuck he wanted, riding Harleys and all that. But,
for sure.
I guess I think about what would be the stereotypical thing that you do in your midlife crisis? Normally, like you buy a sports car, right? Or I don't know.
Yeah, all of those things.
We said one. What is all those things?
That huge list of stuff that normally happens at this phase of life, right?
There are definitely things.
Well, because for me, it was, I feel like it started happening around 40. It wasn't, there's not like an exact thing. It's not an exact science. And what, you're like, really? Because
I feel like it's a science. Yeah. Midlife. I mean, if you start your midlife crisis, does that mean that you're halfway over?
I don't think so at all.
No, okay.
No, that's the whole thing is
I'm putting mine off.
Keep putting it off. For me, what it is it's the recognition of, it's kind of like my life at this point it's not like, let's see if I can totally flesh this out. It's not that my life was going a direction that I didn't want it to go, but at the same time, it's like life wasn't what I expected it to be.
Okay.
And it's this moment where everything starts to kind of bubble up to the surface, and I get the opportunity to address it and look at it and question it. Is this how I want to be spending, the next 40 years? If this is how I want to live my life moving forward? And it's an opportunity to make changes based off of your past and your lived experience. And, around this time of life, I feel like is when you kind of have a real good sense of at least kind of how the game works, right? The systems of humanity and life and everything
civilization.
else, right? Yeah. Like you kind of have it figured out enough to where you're doing life, right? Yeah. You're being an adult. And and then the question becomes, is this what I want? Am I actually happy? Is this the life that I actually want to be living? Are these the things that I want to be feeling, the experiences that I want to be having? So then it's like hearkening back to, do you get stuck reminiscing about the way things used to be, which I think enter in the sports car. There's a not big, but there's that whole in society, it's, the midlife crisis is a time period where people get divorced and the husband gets a sports car and gets a younger woman, and then the old spinster 45-year-old woman goes off and gets some cats. I'm teasing. That's a joke. But like, it's very much there's a lot of people that I've seen that are in our same age group where they go through divorce and they go through these breakups and these periods of time where
a little bit of moaning.
Yeah. And I think it's because it's that midlife crisis where they're starting to question everything and look around and see, is this the life that I want to be living? Is this the person that I want to be with? And then what do I do about it? And some people, I think, get stuck in the past and, go back to when they think was like the best time in their life. And that might be in their early 20s, or
sports
car,
might be
fucking, when they were a senior in high school and they're trying to recreate
put on the varsity jacket.
Right. I mean, it's all of those moments where we look back and we think life was easier then, or life was better then. So I'm going to try to recreate in this current moment. And then that's a rabbit hole, like not a rabbit hole, but that's a route that some people go. And then I think there's this other route where you get the opportunity to actually like change and evolve and grow and become the new version of what you actually want to be, and kind of go in this direction. Mm-hmm. And it feels like a very, I don't want to say dangerous time, but it feels, it's very uneasy. It feels like very fluid. Things feel very, just not grounded.
In flux.
Yeah, for sure. And can you relate to any of this?
So, as you did a much better job explaining things for me, because I'm a big dumb animal. Yeah. So I wear a lot more polos now, right? I made the shift from like work jeans to like more of a Docker style, like kind of pants. I was like looking at myself at the age of 40 or like 39 or 38. It was like, all right, like what do my dad was, and I say this with love, right? This is like, he was the mechanic, like there's always grease stains on everything, and everywhere we went, like he had a nice pair of jeans, and that was in a nice like polo or something like that. But that was it, right? And is that who I want to be, right? And do I want to be the guy who's always got his motorcycle boots on and his jeans and all that, wearing the T-shirt that says funny things, which I love, but at the same time, it's not what I think I wanted to see for myself. And I think more of a little, I don't know what the right word would be for like the polos, the pants, little, just kind of, I can't think of a good word for that. Any word that comes to mind sounds terrible. So
does it feel like it's more professional, more mature?
Yeah,
more
mature.
adult?
Yeah, more adult, more mature. That's a good way more professional for sure. So like I tend to lean towards that. I look at it's it's funny. I used to, when I was younger, I would look at Jeeps and be like, oh man, I could put this lift kit in these big tires and all that. Now I understand I have a lifted pickup truck, right? But I don't look at, and I want a lifted pickup truck. That's really going to be my like midlife crisis, is when I get my dream truck.
Okay.
Right. The Mega Raptor. And that'll be my sports car, right? Because I don't really fit. I'm not going to like get a Corvette. Like I think I don't fit well in that. And that Mustangs sit real low. I would drive a Mustang, but I don't think I'd enjoy it.
I'd like to find out. I'd like to drive it for 6 months and see. Maybe I don't.
Maybe I don't.
Do. Let's find out.
Let's try it out.
Hey, Ford, if you want to sponsor the podcast.
Don't give me that shitty E-Mach one, though. That thing sucks. Anything electric sucks. It's just my opinion.
And you're welcome to have it.
Yeah.